So we're gonna take you guys on a property tour. So you might be able to hear to our left is a stream that runs through their property. They have 5 acres and it goes from kind of the top of this hill to the bottom that you see there, and it kind of tracks along this stream that cuts all the way through. So we're coming up on the Cottage, which has a studio apartment, and you'll see that as we walk by. So the Cottage has been converted into 2 units. The upstairs is a 3-bedroom. I don't know why I said bedroom so weird. The upstairs is a 3-bedroom apartment, and then the downstairs is a studio apartment where we were staying, and that's attached to the 2-car garage. There's this like gorgeous pathway that leads from the Cottage to the upper house. And then we're about to walk through a bunch of banana trees. I call it the tunnel. It's kind of overgrown, but super cool. So this property used to be a botanical gardens that they would host weddings and have events here. People would rent it out. And then the property went into disrepair and the previous owners stopped taking care of it, and there were like squatters living in it. People would like try to steal everything, broke a bunch of windows, tried to strip all the copper, and that's how Rick and Della bought it 4 or 5 years ago. And then ever since then, they've been slowly starting to fix it up. So they started with the Cottage, kind of remodeled that, and then they've been working on the house, but they don't live here full time. So it's been kind of slow going, but they've done a really good job fixing up what they have so far. But we're about to walk up to the big house. This path leads to a little overgrown kind of gazebo thing. When the property was used back in the 90s, they had all these little like buildings everywhere and all these little paths that like led to different areas. If you look closely, like you'll see like overgrown things like here and there. There's a bridge further down that crosses from one side of the stream to the other. There's a little deck here, slightly overgrown, that overlooks the creek. We'll walk up here and I'll show you another view of the stream. So behind me is the baby pool. It used to be like a waterfall, water feature, and then Rick and Della have grandkids. So before their family came for Christmas, they cleaned it up and filled it, or painted it and filled it with water. So we don't have any kids, so we use the big pool. And then you can probably start to see the upper house, or the big house as we call it. So this house was turned into 3 units by Rick and Della. So the upstairs is their main living area. It's a 2-bedroom unit with a big ass kitchen and living room. Downstairs you can see an entrance right here has been broken up into 2 units, and then if we walk up the driveway a little bit more, you'll see our patio outdoor area that leads to Rick and Della's unit upstairs. So we're coming up to the upper deck, the patio where the pool is and where our kind of hangout area is. As you can see, we're not mad about it, right? So we're gonna keep walking up to the upper parking lot. We'll show you what else this property has to offer. So Rick is like an all-around handyman. He knows how to do a lot of everything, and one thing that he does that we think is really cool is that he tries to reuse as much as possible. So like all around the property there will be like wood and things that he's like found at the reuse store. He tries to like get things for free. That way if he needs to build something, he has the materials and he doesn't have to spend extra money or create extra waste. So like here, this used to be bathrooms when it was a event space. Now it's like for storage. He keeps a bunch of the wood here. We're also passing through another like overgrown area. There's coffee beans up there and lots of other fruit, which we'll describe in another video to come. So there's 2 ways to get to the yoga hut. One is to cut over to the right. by this abandoned building. They call this the Zen Hut. It's definitely overgrown and underused, but that's another one of the many projects that they're planning on possibly fixing up in the future. So on our right, Miss Meow is hiding somewhere in the bushes. There she is. And as we start to walk in to the upper parking lot, behind you is an avocado tree. So there's a couple different types of avocados on the property. These are Hass avocados, which are the delicious ones. So Alex has been collecting those anytime he comes up this way. And I've been making lots of guacamole. I love guacamole, so we eat tacos and guacamole a lot. This upper parking lot, they don't actually use it anymore. So now they only use the lower one. So right now we're walking up towards the yoga hut, and it's at the top of the property, kind of on a hill. And part of why we got to come and live here is that Rick and Della wanted a deck built on their yoga hut. There was like a tiny little deck that was all rotted out, and Rick had even like fallen through and hurt his knee. So they wanted that to be safer and also usable, right? So we're coming up the last little bit of hill. There's like the most amazing plants all around us. So this is the yoga hut. It's adorable. So the last little bit of the tour is just the driveway to the upper road. So that's where we're headed now. There are a ton of mosquitoes up here. We found, that's the thing about being in the jungle, that you kind of have to get used to. We did some yoga photos the other day and both of us got eaten alive. I like can't stop itching myself in this video. So this is the top of the property. And this is the upper road. This is where GPS takes most people, even though it's not where you actually want to park. We've met a couple of the neighbors. They're pretty cool. And if you go up, you can actually see the West Maui Mountains, like when they're not covered in clouds. So you actually have a pretty good view from up here. So the last thing that we're going to show you is the driveway that we actually use. The first driveway is for whoever's living at the cottage, and then the other driveway is where we drive up. So that's weird. So let's go. So this is the bridge that crosses the river, and you can see there's actually a pretty big like pool right below us. If we wanted to jump in, we could. We haven't yet. And there's fish in there. Magical. And then right in front is a giant fucking banyan tree. Pretty epic. So pretty. So there's two driveways. We showed you the lower one. That was what we walked up first. And this is the driveway to the upper house that we're now walking down. It's super long. It's pretty crazy, the flora that we pass. We're really happy and feel pretty blessed to be able to stay in this place. Okay, wait, you have to see this. Come on, the bridge. Like bamboo forest to a crazy bridge that crosses the stream. Rick was like, don't go on that. So we're almost to the bottom of our driveway. We made it through the property tour. Thanks for coming along with us. Let us know if you have any questions or anything, and we'll let you know.
Come on, seriously.
I was just walking into a spider web.